Hello there. Long ago, when I was about 13, 14, a few decades ago, my father, who was a very clever man, very clever in electronics, very patriotic, he'd read about a couple of holy books, and he'd read a lot of Winston Churchill's works. Yes, he warned me of a certain ideology. Yes, he told me how it was never anything to do with peace, it was always to do with massacres. It was this man, actually, this man here, on the right there, I trust you can see that. And he warned me about how it's nothing to do with peace and how it had wiped out the Christian Middle East. Here's the old chap, my old da, as the Irish say. Old da, that was me when I was a little boy. Yes, a very clever man, like this fella. And he warned me about this certain ideology, how often they prefer boys to girls, boys to women for pleasure, women are for children, boys are for pleasure. This is a certain ideology, which I don't think I can even name it, with Theresa May's ridiculous hate speech laws, where we're not allowed to call a spade, literally. We're not allowed to refer to anybody's origins or what have you. You know, I'm Caucasian, British Irish, but if you say that's fine, you can call the whiteys, the honkies, all you like. But if you dare call another group by an ideology which they run their lives by, I mean, they even go to the toilet. I mean, all these people that follow this ideology, really, we like women. Yes, they all urinate like women because this old 7th century paedophile, murderer, gangster, he weed like a woman. And in their holy writings, it's saying this is the best thing to do. If you stand up proudly, like a male, you know, and unashamedly urinate as a public urinal, you would be seen as being, oh, no, that's disgraceful. You're showing yourself. Well, we don't generally look. This is the thing. I mean, you Arabic types might look at one another like that, but we don't, because we're all, like, brothers in our Christian culture. This chap's quite a nice guy. I've met this guy many times. My name's Dave, as you see. I'm a life member. And my family have been fighting for this country in numerous conflicts for centuries. Way back before the Boer War. There was actually a great-granddad of mine fought in the Boer War. This man here, his name was Thomas. This is my granddad, and I vaguely remember him, believe it or not. He was a very highly skilled engineer in a diesel engine factory. I think it was Lister's in Manchester, but it was one of them, Perkins, Lister's, whatever. And he was very, very skilled. And he was in the Territorial Army well before World War One. And he volunteered. He was going to go into the trenches. Thank God he didn't, because we know what went on there. You know, that was where most of the 400,000 plus Englishmen and 300,000 plus Canadians, Americans, Indians, South Africans died. And thank God he didn't go to the trenches, because he was far more valuable fixing Royal Flying Corps aircraft, being a very, very experienced engineer. Often he would have to be in the hangar at night, even if it was snowing, freezing cold, whatever, to try and get the planes fixed and put new engines in them and repair the airframes, ready for the Royal Flying Corps to do their dawn patrols to fight the Hun, as they were called at the time. Yes, I'm actually featured on here or there. Regarding these leaflets, it is true. My partner's mother now cannot get hold of cheap housing, social housing, because they've turned around and said we've got to keep 150 houses free for the migrants, free for the refugees. Yes, some of them are refugees, but the majority will be flooding in from Africa, of course. This was also a friend of the family who I believe he lost his life in the First World War. So as you see, when this man and a couple of other guys, and Tommy and one or two others, tell you about this ideology, its warlike beginnings, and this lady too, who used to be joint leader, yeah, they're not lying. I mean, this ideology that we're talking about did wipe out 450, 500 years of Christian Middle East. And it has to be said, with all our children and us being fed halal slaughtered Nagany meat now, even in Morrison's meat is all halal now. They've signed an agreement, so they're paying the zakat tax, which goes straight to, well, allegedly, some of the Islamists. All these mosques, certainly several have already been caught preaching hate speech upon us, upon all infidels, all those idolaters, which Paul would plainly be, my dad would be, President Trump would be, even my old mum would be an idolater, a dirty kaffir, a person that they should kill at every opportunity. This was my granddad's pub, many, many years after World War One, of course, and that tiny figure there, if you hope you can see it, is my father in shorts, at about, looks about 10, 12 years of age there, obviously a nice summer's day, and strangely enough, this pub, which was called the Dutton Arms, is still standing. It's been rebuilt and it is now called the Barton Arms in West Manchester. I believe a lot of footballers use it. But so you see, when they go calling these people, extremists, racists, you've got to bear in mind, how many bombs has this man planted? Nil? Yeah, nil. How many armed assaults has he done? How many street murders has he done? Absolutely none is the answer. But a certain other group, which my father warned me about, has committed thousands and thousands of these attacks, like the Manchester attack, like the Whitehall attack, like the Westminster Bridge attack, like the Nice attack, like countless of them. So when they start talking about this so-called peaceful ideology, I don't need them, matey. They're talking absolutely out of their bum, and these youngsters, like the one that's just helping me out here with his blocks, who we're doing it for. We're not bad people. We've got no problem with people of other race. We've got not a big problem with any people of any other ideology. But we do have a problem with being second-class citizens in our own land. And basically we are, aren't we? We know everyone's frightened to criticise a certain ideology, any ideology. But if it, call President Trump a moron, call this man this whatever, violent, whatever has been said recently, well, they're absolutely talking out the bum, because it's that certain ideology which this man and many others criticise, and Tommy, has murdered about 250 million people, has castrated, all was cut off, emasculated, millions and millions of slaves, mainly black men, but earlier on it was poor white boys. Yes, they've been doing this for 1400 years, and in some parts of Africa, I'm ashamed to say, they are still doing it. So the next time we talk about a religion of peace and extremists, and anyone that calls themselves a patriot must be an extremist, like what they're telling the army now, just remember they're talking out of their bum, and this ideology has so many sins to hide. They're desperate to keep them hidden. The rape gangs, the female genital mutilation, the butchering of about 250 million people of all races and creeds. They don't care. You're all idolaters. You're all equally inferior. So you better pay heed, because, our country has been sold out beneath us by, as this man calls it, self-serving, selfish, greedy politicians. And it has, for decades. It really has. Since Enoch Powell's day, certainly. Okay, see you guys.